Now I'm going to return to Photoshop and create a bump map for the cocoa using the texture that we've applied. I've opened up my texture in Photoshop now, and I'm going to duplicate the texture by going to Image, Duplicate. I'll click OK. Closing out the original. I'm going to delete the UV map. At the bottom of the layer window, clicking on the black and white circle, I'm going to choose black and white. Once again, at the bottom of the layer window, clicking on the black and white circle, now I'll choose levels. I'm just going to adjust the levels to increase the contrast. I've put the dark value just where the waveform begins on the left for the darks, and on the right where the lights are, I've just dragged that in to the beginning of the ascent of that wave. And now with the middle values, I'll pull them to the right a little bit. This is very subjective. So now I'm going to go to File, Save As. And because this is going to be our bump map, it has to be a JPEG. Changing the format from Photoshop to JPEG, I'll save it in my folder, putting the name bump at the end of the file name. And now I'll return to Maya. In Maya, I'm going to go to my material attribute by right-clicking and choosing Material Attribute. Scrolling down in the attribute window, I'm looking for the term Geometry. Opening the tab, there are two choices, Opacity and Bump Map. I'll follow the active text box out to the checkerboard, and in the Create Render node, I'll choose File. Where it says bump value, you'll see the number 1 is highlighted in yellow. If I follow that out, there's a little black triangle inside of a black box. I can now click on that, follow the image name out, clicking on the folder, getting my file, and I'll click on Open. And you can see now it's got a little bit more of a three-dimensional quality. To edit the amount on which the bump map affects my geometry, I will go into File 2, File, and I'll follow that text box out to these two icons with the boxes and the triangles. I'll click on the bottom one, and it takes me back to where we introduced the texture. The bump depth can be adjusted. It can be increased by dragging to the right or reduced by dragging to the left. If you go into the minus side of the bump depth, it reverses the effect with the light value pushing down and dark values pushing up. Ordinarily, we use anything to the right where the dark values recede and the light values push up, and we can tweak it once we get to the renders.